Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we look at the latest comics and other media featuring the Transformers. In this episode, the Energon Universe returns to Free Comic Book Day with 3 new stories for us to review. Today is Friday, May 9th, 2025, and this is episode 441 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that turns enemies into friends. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team of Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
Note, I can turn friends into enemies with one game of Mario Party. Let's talk Transformers.
All right, as always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to support us and keep the show going. We really appreciate it. If you are not a Donatreon and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support, and that's where you can sign up. You get lots of perks, including bonus content, like our bonus show, We Like Big Bots, by Daryl and Dr. Pants, who's right here. They have 14 episodes of We Like Big Bots on our Patreon page, showing off the biggest spots in their collection. And Dr. Pants is promising more are coming.
At some point this year, in the year of our Lord 2025, there will in fact be more Big Bots episodes. I have plans, not concepts of a plan. I have plans. So I just actually have to communicate with Daryl what those plans are, but it will be done. It will be done. I have to see him at TFCon Toronto, so that's the perfect place to talk about it. If not before then.
So that means, are we locked in for TFCon Toronto then? That sounds like we're locked in.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there 100%.
All right.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. All right. So we're locking Daryl and Dr. Pants in a room to record a bunch of Big Bots episodes and miss all the toys at TFCon.
Whoa. I promised more episodes. I didn't promise that. I got to go see some Big Bots to be inspired to talk about the Big Bots.
That's true. All right. Of course, we've also got our Transformers live play RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week, we have the bonus version with bonus content only for Donatrons. That's a week early before the regular episode drops. So this is episode 135. Dude, where's my diplomacy? And so the bonus version was out this week. And next week will be the regular version that will be in everyone's feed, in the free feed at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. So please enjoy that. We've also still got copies of our Transformers #1 exclusive commissioned copies from the Transmissions Podcast exclusive version with the cover art by EJ Sue. You can pick that up at our website at transmissionspodcast.com/comic. And our code for this month of May is MaydayCon for toyhacks.com. So use that code MaydayCon at toyhacks.com to save 15% off all your purchases at toyhacks.com. You can use that code as many times as you like throughout the month of May. It cannot be combined with any other promo codes, but you can use it with your Robo points. So please use that early and often. That helps us out, helps you out, helps everyone. All right, let's get into the show. We're going to start off with some comics news. All right. In comics news, last week, I think by the time this episode airs, the Kickstarter will be over. The Skybound Marvel Comics Compendium Kickstarter that was very successful. At this point, it's and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But of course, to promote that, Bob Budiansky, the father of the original Transformers characters and comic series, did a Reddit AMA in the comic books subreddit, So not the Transformers subreddit, but the comic books subreddit. So if you missed that, you can go, it's still there on Reddit. You can go check out all the questions. There's the proof that it was actually Bob Budiansky. So, and there's the compendium that they are promoting. So check that out. He gives lots of good questions. Of course, if you've seen Bob Budiansky's presentation at a Transformers convention before, he's very knowledgeable. He kept very thorough notes of his work on Transformers from back in the day, and he brings those with him. He has a PowerPoint slide that shows off. So he's got ready answers to lots of questions you can ask. So it's really cool that he did this, and you can see all the questions that he got asked there. So that's it's fun. So if you haven't had a chance to experience Bob Budiansky, check that out. Of course, Simon Furman did his Ask Me Anything last week, or the week before, I should say. So they're both out there, and you can check them out. Speaking of that Skybound compendium, we've got over $3.6 million as of the recording, but as I said, we are in the past, so as you can see, it still says 3 days to go. But by the time this episode airs, the Kickstarter will be over and the final total will be announced. But you can see they're over 3.6 million. They've unlocked another stretch goal. And at 3.7 million, which I think it's likely they're going to hit 3.7 million since they're already over 3.6 million. But 3.7 million, they are reproducing the Transformers 67 comic with the cover, and this cover is by Jim Lee. So comics legend Jim Lee did one cover for Transformers, and they are reproducing that. And that will be a reward that goes to all the current physical tier Kickstarter backers. So and of which I am one now. So get off my back, Fat Rob. I did it. But I'm looking forward to this. I did put in, and you can check out last week where I did put, I mentioned what I put in for this compendium. It was not cheap, so I'm looking forward to this. But I do hope they get to the four, because they have a final stretch goal at $4 million. And that will, if they reach that goal, they will be the biggest comics Kickstarter in Kickstarter history. So let's hope they can do it. So there will be some archival prints by Andrew Wildman, Jeff Sr. and Andrew Wildman and Jeff Sr. and a lenticular print by Andrew Wildman. So looks really cool. This is a great project. We talked about it last week. I don't know, Dr. Pants, have you been following this at all, or have you had any interest? I know that G1 is not your wheelhouse, but I don't know if it pulled you in at all.
It did not pull me in. I am interested. I just, with everything else that is coming out of my wallet recently, unfortunately, this one is not one of the things, but it is such a cool project, and it blows me away how much money this has raised and how good these look. I have read some of the G1 comics. I had some of them back in the day. I had the Generation 2 comics also. I read those. But yeah, I can't bring myself to drop the money on them, unfortunately. But for anybody who's getting them, like, enjoy them. They look fantastic. And Charles, I can't wait to see when you get them in and you put them on trips to the store and we get to see what they actually look like physically and everything. Because I'm assuming you pledged the physical versions.
Yeah, I did. I pledged the tier where you get both the Talalar 1 compendium that combines all the US and UK issues, and the version that gives you the separate volumes with the 2 volumes of the US version and 2 volumes of the UK version.
Okay.
And with the signed Megatron book plate. So
okay. Yep, you went hard. You went hard on this.
Yeah, I did. Oh, you might say a little too hard. That's what she said.
Oh. But the question is does she know? And by that I mean, does your wife know you did this? She doesn't listen to the show, does she? She doesn't listen to the show, does she?
This was a hefty meatball here. But.
Yeah, but it's worth it. This is something really cool, and for all those people who grew up with the Transformers 80s comics and all that, like US and UK, it's something we've needed for a long time because I don't think there is a good collection of them currently.
Yeah, they no, not really. I mean, so they did like in IDW they did do the UK volumes that were curated by James Roberts with a lot of extra bits in them. So that those are very cool, but they were not complete. They did not have the complete run of all the issues here. So
right.
that's what this has here. So and also there were those hardcover editions that were only limited to the UK. Like there's the series of hardcover books that spanned like all the comics from G1 to Dreamwave to IDW, and that's a really cool set, but that's not available here. We were not able to that is not you cannot purchase that here, and it was like dozens of volumes, so that was even more difficult to to get a copy of that or you get a full set of that. So
yeah. That being said, I will say the price on this is reasonable for what you're getting. It's it's more than reasonable for what you're getting. It's a large chunk of change to drop all at once, and that's the only thing.
Yeah,
it's the only thing keeping me. But maybe we'll get. DJ Ronan says in the chat, waiting for a retail trade paperback. If that happens, then I might jump on those.
Yeah, they've already announced them. So we talked about this last week. You can already pre-order them on Amazon. So at least the two US compendiums you can already pre-order on Amazon. The UK ones have not been put up yet, but I imagine they will be. So it's that's those 4 volumes that make up the individual sets. I don't know if they're going to do like the single Tallawler 1 set that combines all the US and UK issues together. So that might be something that's Kickstarter only, or maybe they're just waiting to release that later. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on the pre-orders for that and maybe jump in on that and get those for myself. Mm-hmm. I will be less fancy.
Those are like they're I think they were like $50 to $60 per volume. So
they are $64.99, but Amazon has 10% off. Ooh. Oh, and it comes out quick too. Wow. Oh, it comes out like right when the Switch 2 does. I can't do that. My money, my wallet.
Well, I mean, I imagine it won't sell out, so you can wait till Christmas to pick it up if you want,
or put it on my Christmas list and see if someone's nice enough to get it for me.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
All right. That's all for comics news. So let's get into our comic review. All right. So this week we are doing the Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day special. So Free Comic Book Day was this last weekend. We're actually recording this on Free Comic Book Day. So we did, I just picked up my copy of the Energon Universe special. So hopefully everyone got theirs and has read it, because we are going to spoil the heck out of this comic. And we're going to talk about all the details and, get into it. And it's unfortunate that Daryl is not here to see the one time they threw a Transformer into the G.I. Joe book. He's not here. So there you go. All right. So this is the Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day special, 2025 special, I should say. There are 3 stories. There's a G.I. Joe story, a Transformer story, and a Void Rival story. So throughout the book, the staff that is on the entire book is letterer Russ Wooten, editor Ben Abernathy, designer Andres Suarez, and production Ashby Florence. Now for G.I. Joe, the writer is Joshua Williamson, the artist is Andrea Milana, and the colorist is Lee Luffridge. So we're going to talk about the G.I. Joe story was actually the main story that was 16 pages. Then the Transformer story was 6 pages, and the Void Rival story was also 6 pages. So let's talk about this quote unquote G.I. Joe story. So let's talk about it. And this story picks up after the end of G.I. Joe number 6, where the Autobot Hound revealed himself to Clutch. So we're going to pick up right there. So Clutch thought he was driving a normal Jeep out into the desert, but he was wrong. Hound throws him from the Jeep, transforms right in front of him, confronting a very surprised Clutch. Hound tries to talk to him and explain why he's here. He tells him how he admires Earth and how it is so different from Cybertron. He has lain dormant for so long after falling out of the Ark when it crashed, but then a signal awoke him. He must return to his mission and reunite with his people, the Autobots, and continue the war against the Decepticons. But now he turns to Clutch and demands to know how and where he got Energon. Clutch hesitates to answer, but can't see Hound as anything other than a threat. So he grabs his gun and starts firing. The bullets bounce harmlessly off Hound's armor. Hound tells him to stop, but Clutch keeps firing. He knows the giant robots are responsible for killing Duke's friends, and he's got to take this one down. Hound fires a warning shot, knocking Clutch off his feet, but Hound doesn't want to fight and starts to transform and drive away. But Clutch still thinks he's under attack and throws one of the Energon bombs he stole from Cobra. The bomb hits Hound in mid-transformation and incapacitates him. As Hound starts to go offline, he tells Clutch he meant him no harm and only wanted to talk. Clutch realizes he made a mistake and wants to get Hound fixed. He can't take him back to G.I. Joe headquarters at the pit, but he knows someone else who can help out in the desert. Clutch tows Hound's body to a workshop in the middle of nowhere and greets his old friend, Matt Tracker. Clutch asks him for help, but Tracker doesn't seem surprised at all to see a giant transforming robot. They get Hound inside, and Tracker gets to work on repairs. Clutch asks how he knows anything about this technology. Tracker just answers that if he told him, he'd have to kill him. Clutch thinks he's joking, but Tracker doesn't confirm. With the repairs complete, Hound regains consciousness and immediately warns they've got incoming. The Decepticon Jaguar Ravage crashes through a window in the ceiling and attacks. Clutch and Tracker are no match for the Decepticon, but Hound is. He grabs Ravage and slams him through a garage door, firing his blaster as Ravage escapes. Hound tells the humans they need to leave since Ravage will bring more Decepticons back with him. Clutch invites Matt Tracker to come with them, but he prefers to stay on his own. Clutch thanks him for his help, and Matt tells him not to tell anyone else about him as they leave. Now that Hound and Clutch have made up, Hound transforms and offers to drive Clutch back to his base. Now Clutch finally answers where he got the Energon weapon. He stole it from the terrorist group Cobra. As they continue their journey, Hound asks Clutch to tell him more about Cobra. Back in the Everglades swamp where the original Energon deposit was found by the Dreadnoks, some Cobra soldiers have been ambushed. They were here to retrieve some leftover Energon, but they were stopped by the Dreadnought Buzzer, who's looking for revenge on Cobra Commander. To be continued. So, as I said, this was interesting because I think this is they touted this as being like a GI, like this Energon Universe special was going to have a main focus of GI Joe, but the main focus was Hound, and the surprise of having Matt Tracker from Mask guest star in this GI Joe story. And it's the Matt Tracker version from the IDW Hasbro Universe Matt Tracker, which is really a really interesting choice that I didn't see coming. I was really surprised by that. So does that mean we are getting Mask at some point in the Energon universe? I mean, it seems like all the previous discussion has been that the Energon universe is just Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Void Rivals. There's nothing else. We're concentrating on these guys. We're not doing anything else. And then we get Mask. Mask is just, it shows up out of the blue. So that's cool. I'm just surprised. Dr. Pan, so what did you think of this story?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's exactly what I've been waiting for with a crossover between G.I. Joe and Transformers, like a nice kind of coming together of the two different sides kind of expressing themselves. Like Hound's just like, where did you get the Energon? And we know G.I. Joe was started because Duke lost a friend to a Transformer, and they kind of just view them as enemies. So the whole opening here was really cool. I did not know who Matt Tracker was. And I was like, is this a G.I. Joe character I'm not familiar with? I didn't get it. And as you were going through it, I was looking back at the pages. And that's when I saw the helmet in the background. I'm like, oh, Mask. That's which then I was like, what Mask? Because that was a big part of the IDW universe. Because wasn't that part of the big crossover Revolution?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. They had their own book for a little while. It was written by Brandon Easton, who we've had on the show before.
Oh.
And I was and it was like, so I mean, there was a little like, so Matt Tracker is the leader of Mask in the old cartoon from the 80s. His original character is a blonde white guy, and in the Hasbro universe in IDW, Brandon Easton changed him to be a black guy. So I was surprised to see that they carried that change forward in reintroducing him in this the Energon Universe. So I'm interested. I'm curious how this is going to fit in. Also, it seems it's very mysterious that he already knows about Cybertronian technology. Apparently, he's already been working with Cybertronian technology. So that's interesting.
I'm assuming he got a hold of somebody else who probably fell out of the Ark, because that just seems to be a thing that happened. Because Hound fell out of the Ark, and how many others just got misplaced and whatnot.
Beachcomber, yeah,
Beachcomber. I'm assuming they have come across some other Transformer. Actually, this is a dumb question. When Optimus Prime is rolling around in the Skybound comics, does he have his trailer?
Sometimes he does. I mean, the trailer is there. They made a point of that in the first issue, that they used the trailer to take all the wounded Autobots with them when they escaped the Ark. So he still has the trailer.
Because I was going to say maybe Mask somehow got a hold of the trailer and they're reverse engineering from that rather than like an actual Cybertronium, but never mind. It's been a while since I read issue 1. I am interested to see what they do with it, or if it's literally just a one-off character and we never see him again, which would be a shame, but it's kind of a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
But the story in general, really cool. I love that they put Hound versus Ravage, because, first season G1, first episode G1, isn't it? Like, deep cut there, which is really cool. I also got to give the artist credit who did this for the mid-transformation shots all over this story. There is there's some great artwork here. I love that like 3/4 2-page spread it starts with, where Hound is still kind of transforming. He's got like arm panels settling in and leg panels settling in, and it's really cool. And he pulls his gun out kind of like RoboCop style. It's in his leg, and he leans down to pick it up, and we get to see that and everything. It's just a lot of cool detail here. A good story. I liked how Clutch kind of handled it after he knocked Hound out, where he was kind of like, oh no, what did I do? I shouldn't have done that. Oh no.
Yeah.
And
the artist is Andrea Milana, who I believe is the regular artist on G.I. Joe. So
I was pretty sure it was, because it looked very much G.I. Joe, and also all the visual sound effects in there felt very G.I. Joe. I love when Hound does the weird whip around at the very end of Transform, and you get that Kiku Chi-Chu, the transformation sound. It's just so cool to kind of see that there. And I've read all of G.I. Joe so far, and I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of enjoying it. And this wasn't bad. And I like that it's still connecting and whatnot. And I kind of want to see what happens with Hound from here, if he goes and joins Optimus, or if something happens with G.I. Joe. I know that it'd be trouble to take him back to the pit, but It's cool, and I like the cliffhanger the issue ends on. That page, that splash page there of like just Buzzer just standing over the Cobra Soldier is just, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, and I think he has like his chainsaw has been now grafted into his arm, it looks like. So that's shades of what, Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, you know, you got a chainsaw arm.
I was gonna say he's looking a little Ash from Army of Darkness there. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Well, that is the G.I. Joe comic starring Hound. So let's move on to the next story. So the next story is the Transformers story. And this is shorter, so it's only 6 pages, and it's written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson, where he did the first 6 issues himself as well. And the colorist is Mike Spicer, who's the regular colorist that Daniel Warren Johnson always works with. So and you know, and I believe also, just to mention, call back to the lettering comment you mentioned, Scott. I believe Russ Wooten did the lettering on all 3 of these stories, and he's the regular letterer on all the Energon Universe books, and I think he's responsible for all those cool sound effect letters there. So,
well, he should get more acknowledgement for it because he does a fantastic job.
Yeah. All right, so the Transformer story. Millions of years ago on Cybertron, Jazz, RC, Blur, Cliffjumper, and Bluestreak are in a rockin' heavy metal band. But Jazz gets so wrapped up in his electric keyboard playing that he ignores the beat of the music, and the rest of the band kicks him out. Later, Optimus Prime walks by Jazz's living quarters and hears a terrible cacophony. It's Jazz playing with some equipment Wheeljack gave him to monitor interstellar movements in other galaxies, but it outputs a terrible, discordant noise. Wheeljack thinks it's worthless, but Jazz loves the sound. He tells Optimus the sound is something he's looking for, but doesn't even know if it exists. Optimus isn't sure he understands what Jazz is looking for, but he asks him to please turn that noise off. Now in present day on Earth, Jazz hears that wonderful sound again while driving down the street. Optimus, driving with him, warns him to stop since the Decepticons are still watching them, but Jazz is drawn to that sound. It's a jazz club. Jazz loves the sound of the music he hears and watches from outside with glee. Optimus asks him if the sound he hears answers the question he was looking for. Jazz says no, but it's darn close. So this is a cute little story. I mean, I like Jazz. Jazz finding Jazz on Earth is, you know, that's cute.
It's one of those things though, where like he had the name Jazz before discovering Jazz, much like Bone Crusher. Cybertronians don't have bones. How does he know what bones are? But I digress.
I mean, this is the comic where I believe all the Marvel comics do this, or all the Transformers comics do this. The Autobots and Decepticons just immediately start speaking English when they come to Earth, and they don't, you know, there's no exposition or like for learning the language or absorbing the Earth culture or whatever. It's just, you know, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Nope.
They've all got a universal translator.
It's true. It's true. That's exactly how it works, and that's how all sci-fi works. We've just come to accept that. This was a cute story. I really like this. I feel like, was there a similar story at some point in IDW with Jazz and music and him being part of a band?
He was in the later IDW when they were back on Cybertron, and Blur opened McAdam's new oil house. He was in the band in the bar. So
that's right.
Yeah, I do remember that.
My only weird thing about this is I can see every one of those Transformers being in the band. Bluestreak's the weird one. I never would have imagined Bluestreak being in the band with them. Like, given everything we know about these characters, it's just maybe there's some other like characterization for Bluestreak. It's just I never pictured him to be in a Transformers heavy metal band. I feel like there's a lot of other characters it could have been, but it's still really cool. I love Jazz on the keyboard, and I also love that throughout the whole comic there is that the sounds just being written out around the whole thing. And it goes until, and it's almost like it is leading Jazz to the Jazz Club throughout the whole comic. And it's really cool. And I like a nice personal story. I really like when we get a good kind of character. It's not necessarily character development, but just a character focused story. We've gotten a lot of action, which has been great, but I kind of miss in the IDW stuff, those like the spotlight issues we would get that would focus on one character and really give him a chance to shine and whatnot. And I miss those moments. And this was nice. I really like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it made me think of the Cybertronic Spree, like when they show that band. I know it's not the same members that the band has in real life, but
you got RC on vocals, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I wonder if Daniel Warren Johnson is aware of them and is a fan of them. So,
well, I mean, it's quite possible because, to be honest, the majority of Cybertronic Spree is Decepticons. So I don't think you'd put them in the band, and
yeah,
and you can't put Hot Rod because he's out doing his own. He's doing his own thing,
Yep. All right, and our last story is Void Rivals, and this is writer Robert Kirkman, artist Connor Hughes, and colorist Patricio Del Pesce. So, and this is. Again, this is all Transformers focused. It's Void Rivals, but we get barely a mention of the Sacred Ring, and it's really all on Quintessa. So this is really all about the Quintessons, which is, of course, in the Transformers universe. So on Quintessa, the Sharkticon pit is dormant. The Quintessons are preoccupied and don't have time to pass judgment on anyone. In the prison cell, a rhyming Cybertronian named Wheelie rallies the other prisoners to plan an escape. The Quintessons hold a council as they ponder the discovery of the Sacred Ring and the location of Zerta Trion and their long-lost superweapon, Goliant. Suddenly, a guard interrupts their council to tell them the prisoners have escaped. The Quintessons are still not interested and just order them to release the Sharkticons to recapture them. Wheelie leads the other prisoners to a hiding place of safety while the Sharkticons give up the chase. And still, the Quintessons deliberate. They need Goliant back if they are to face the return of another power that they can't even name. So it is time for the Quintessons to prepare for war on the Sacred Ring. And this, interestingly, they give a to be continued, but a very specific to be continued in Void Rivals number 25, which, as I showed in the main show, in the regular show, we just got Void Rivals number 18. So this is about 6 months from now. We will follow up on this story. So that's interesting in and of itself.
I didn't even think of that until you just mentioned it. It's like, oh, and we just finished basically volume 3 of Void Rivals, so it's gonna be a while, isn't it? Because don't they take a hiatus?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're going to take a hiatus because their schedule slipped again. Like Void Rivals 18 was originally supposed to come out in March, and it got delayed to April. So I don't know. I mean, I hope they don't. I mean, it's all up to Robert Kirkman, right? I mean, he's got so many. His hand is in so many pots. He just, it's whether or not he can get the scripts done fast enough that they can work on the comics. So, but yeah, I mean, so this basically Void Rivals 25 is going to be the start of the 5th story arc of the comic. So when we just finished the 3rd arc. So we've got a whole nother arc before we get to the Quintesson War. So
cool.
There you go.
Cool. I am behind on Void Rivals, so I have no opinion of issue 18. I've been picking up the trades and reading it that way. I do enjoy it, and I'm glad they're kind of bringing the Quintessons in on this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's interesting. I will say in this story, one of my favorite parts is the Quintesson like council doing the deliberation, and as you look through it, like the different faces they are expressing during their discussions, they're actually changing their faces to reflect it. And then that final panel when they all yell out war, and it's like it is the war face, and they're all matching. Cool little details. I really, really like that. I have more questions than answers with any of this. I don't know if this really gave any new information whatsoever, other than There's some other evil they're more or something else they're more concerned about. They can't be named. I mean, my first thought is it's going to be Unicron, because what is big enough and bad enough to scare the Quintessons? So,
yeah, I mean that was my, because originally when they introduced Goliant to the comic, it looked like a giant planet-sized transformer, and we were all like, "Is that Unicron? Is Goliant supposed to be Unicron?" And then and so maybe Goliant is the Quintesson's response to protecting themselves against Unicron, which would be interesting.
it would make sense. It would make sense.
Yeah.
I also appreciate that they have introduced through Void Rivals and the Transformers book, because the previous issue 19 was with a bunch of the Quintessons, that we have gotten like all the individual styles of the Quintesson race going through it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have seen that. And I really, really appreciate that, because most of the time you think of Quintessons and you just think of the judges, because that's all they ever represent in toys usually. But I'm really, really happy they've gone further with that. It's cool Wheelie's around, but I mean, yeah, you know what? You got Wheelie, you got Springer, you got Hot Rod, all in Void Rivals. We're just setting up the 86 movie, aren't we?
Yep. Yeah, we got to get RC off of Earth and get her back with the rest of the crew.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. The artwork is nice. It is a much cleaner style than the other two, so it's a little bit of a shock when you get to this one compared to the other two stories, but it's really nicely done. Coloring's really, really good. It's fun. I do like Wheelie too. I don't know how other people feel about Wheelie, but like, I enjoy Wheelie. I like seeing him around.
I like Wheelie. As long as they get the rhymes right, like if the rhymes have the proper cadence, it's fine.
Yeah. Was it Last Spot Standing though, where he spoke in haiku? They like changed it and he wasn't rhyming anymore. He was just doing haikus the whole time.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was of course that was also creepy, where I think wasn't that where he's just a head?
He was a head on like a tiny little go-kart thing with yeah. But yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, so I hope we'll see more of what's going on Quintessa and Void. I guess we will in issue 25. So got a little ways to go. And this is the new regular artist on Void Rivals, Connor Hughes. So he's going to take over from I can't remember his name. Something DeFelici, I think was his name.
I am terrible with names, so I have nothing. There you go. You got a copy of Void Rivals right there.
Yeah, I got it right here. So Lorenzo DeFelici, yes.
There we go.
He was the original artist.
His artwork wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed more than the people he would draw. I appreciate how he drew the Transformers. I liked his takes on Springer and Hot Rod, very G1 accurate, but I think it worked with his style really well. I think when I've reviewed it with you guys before, I've complained a little bit about the art style, that the faces aren't consistent with the more humanoid characters, but I'm interested to see how Void Rivals goes with the new artist. I would like to see that, so I will I'll pick that up. I'll read it. I like Void Rivals.
All right. Well, that is our comic review. So let's move on to some convention news. All right. So in convention news, we have one new guest announced for TFCon Toronto, and it is Tanya Gunati, who was the voice of Miko in Transformers Prime. So she will be there, and I believe this might be her first TFCon Toronto appearance, because I don't remember her going in previous years. So, but she's been to other I think she's been to other TFCons or other BotCons or other Transformers conventions. I know, and also maybe TF Nation. She's been to that too. So, but yeah, if you have not had a chance to meet Tanya Guinati, you get your chance at TFCon Toronto if you're going to that this summer. So. All right. And I believe that is. Oh wait, no, we have a little bit of feedback. So let's get to that. All right, we have one piece of feedback. This comes from the Discord. This is Mecha Dino, one of our longtime listeners, who had some questions on the re-releases of toys and comics and stuff. So let's just get into it. Mechadino says, I'm sure this has been asked over the years for many different topics, series, or fan bases, but something I have wondered, and with the Kickstarter for Skybound has me wondering, I get copyright, trademarks, etc. for toys, comics, and anything else, but why is it so hard for reprints or remolds for things to get released? I mean, it has been said many times with molds for G1 and other toys have been destroyed and getting source files or prints, but with all the toys or comics or whatever being out in the world owned by someone somewhere, how can things not be remade or reprinted? So I think, I mean, and he gives a bunch of examples. I don't think we need to go through all that, but I think at least my sense, and this is just my opinion, but I think the issue is given the time, resources, and money, you can probably reproduce anything. If you can do comic reprints, you can do reconstruct molds of old toys, whatever. But it's just a matter of, is it going to make a profit for the company doing it? So, I mean, you saw with the Missing Link toys that Takara is doing, they put a lot of effort into reconstructing the molds to recreate new toys, and it seemed like they sold pretty well. So, I mean, they thought there was going to be a market out there for people looking for new versions of these old toys. And it's just a question of, does the company feel like if they put out the resources, they're going to get a return on their investment? I mean, I think it's as simple as that. I think with all the doing reprints of all the Transformers comics and things, I think Hasbro ultimately owns the license to all the Transformers comics that have been produced. So it's just a matter of, do they think? So basically, Hasbro doesn't produce the comics. So whoever is holding the license for the Transformers comics that they bought from Hasbro, they basically pay Hasbro a licensing fee while they can produce comics. If they decide that it's going to be worthwhile to reproduce previous comics, then they will do it. And that's it's a key example with the Kickstarter. And clearly they realized that there was a market there, because they blew past their Kickstarter goal and are all close to being the biggest comic Kickstarter ever. So they saw a potential market for that, and they're capitalizing on that. So I think it's as simple as that as to why you don't get remakes and remolds and reprints of everything you want. It's just a matter of companies will produce what they think is worth the resources to reproduce and get a return on their investment.
Exactly. It's all about the money. And I will, I'm much more of a toy guy, and I will go with what Mechadino says, like, talk about Overlord. Why doesn't he get reprinted? Because he's not going to make any money. As much as a lot of us Transformers fans would love an Overlord figure or a reprint of that G1 Overlord, because we didn't get it. We didn't get it here, right? That was a European.
No, he was. Yeah. Japan and Europe only got him. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, the last time they made an Overlord figure in Titan's Return, that figure ended up in clearance aisles because most people didn't care about Overlord. He's not an original G1 character for the G1 fans. He was in an anime series. It didn't come over here, and he's in one IDW comic story, really, and that's it. And there's a reason we got one Overlord in Titan's Return, but why there are going to be now 5 Masterpiece Optimus Prime figures. Because Optimus Prime makes money. Overlord doesn't. And believe me, I feel this because there are numerous characters I would love to see get figures, even if it's not even a remake of an old figure. Like Hasbro's not going to produce certain characters because they know they're not going to make money, because like deep cut figures don't do well. I was pumped about Metal Hawk getting a figure, and that figure ended up shelf warming like crazy because nobody wanted it. So unfortunately, it's the money that dictates this stuff, and that's why we get the things we do. So
yeah. So I mean, Mecha Dino, of course, we're just regular guys like you. So these are just our opinions. I mean, we're not marketing experts. We don't work for Hasbro. So I mean, this is our explanation, and hopefully that's if it doesn't satisfy you. Yeah, I mean, there's hopefully there's experts on the internet who can answer it, but we hope that answers your question. So thanks for writing in, and thanks for continuing to watch and listen. All right, well, that is all the feedback for this episode. So that takes us to the end of Transmissions Alt Mode for this week. Again, of course, we like to give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrons. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and that's why they get a mention in every episode. So thank you once again to John 4X7 Good and Steve C. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. You're awesome. All right. Dr. Pants, thank you again for being here this week and supporting me when everyone else abandoned me. Something that's when when your true friends are here. So appreciate it.
I will always be here when no one else shows up. I will step up.
But why don't you tell everyone where they can find you online, and of course Nerdstradamus.
So you'll find me attached to Nerdstradamus. That is my outlet. That is where you will find me and my friends doing stuff. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link tree is right below my name there, and the other link is in the show notes if you're listening to this via audio. You'll find links to everything, but we're mostly a YouTube family. That is where we post most of our videos. We even have shorts and whatnot, music videos and whatnot. And if you listen to Wednesday's episode, you also know that I mentioned we have a Transformers themed series coming out that hopefully it's probably not out yet, but it will be out in the next few weeks once I get the footage and can start editing it. But that'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that.
Please remind us when it comes out, so we will make sure to mention it on the show and give the link.
As soon as the first episode comes out, it will be posted on the Transmissions Discord to let everyone know.
Awesome. All right. John 411 Good says more pants.
Call me and I might show up. Actually, we're getting closer to summer, so it's a lot easier for me to be on the show coming up. So you let me know whenever you need me.
All right. All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching and listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.